Well, hello everybody. I'm meteorologist Eliasen here with the meteorologist Alyssa Andrews, and we're here to update you on a very wintry weekend ahead. We have some changes to the snowfall forecast. I'm not sure if it's going to be in the direction you like. Yeah. Everybody's rooting for, but yes, a little bit more snow in the forecast.
I think especially with all the snow that's still on the ground that we can't get rid of, you know.
Yeah, especially around the city, a little bit tough. And what are we going to do about that parade on next week? We're going to have to clear the snow pretty quickly.
They'll figure it out for that, I'm sure.
Anyhow, let's get on to we're under weather alert for the snow, wind, and cold that's coming this weekend. Really, it's like a triple threat of winter. Once again, the fourth weekend in a row, we've had some kind of weather alert going on for winter weather. So it now looks like most folks are getting plowable snow on Saturday, followed by some gusty winds. And stop us if you've heard us before, wind chills 10 to 20 below. Maybe
here we go again. I think that might be the worst part for me is just the wind chills. It's going to be, it was nice to at least get to somewhat above freezing for a little bit. You know, the pets could be outside for a second, but it's right back to the cold.
Yeah, so looking at the current satellite and radar imagery, you see a pretty big storm off to the southeast of us. That's kind of another one of these things that we're luckily missing, but there is a little bit of a, the storm this weekend is not your typical sort of area of low pressure moving south of us. It's more of like an extension of a storm that's pretty far out. So we'll kind of explain it more in a second. But the storm that's going to cause our snow, you can see, is sort of just a cold front right now out in the Ohio River Valley. And we'll sort of detail how that's going to turn into snow for us in a bit. But this one's a tough one. Like this is not a simple, like, sort of west to east moving snow shield.
Right, so you'll see that especially when we put the futurecast in motion. You can see how it moves, and it doesn't move in that typical direction we normally see. So the snow totals are going to be a little bit tricky on this one, and there's going to be a couple of bands setting up that we think maybe we can even bump those numbers up to 5 inches plus on the...
Yep.
Are we?
No, yeah. Okay, no, you're right.
Yeah, and this is going to be along with the deep freeze. So we've got an Arctic front moving through. It's going to chill our temperatures down. We're actually going to be in contention for record cold high temperatures, and along with it comes the snow for Saturday.
Yeah, so you see again, it's almost like a front comes through, sort of gets stationary a bit. A little bit of a low pressure area wobbles along it, and it turns into what's called an inverted trough in the atmosphere. And that's really what's causing us our snow this weekend. And here's what an inverted trough is. So basically, we'll have the actual center of the storm when the snow is going is going to be way off to our south and east. Like that's not really where our snow is coming from. Instead, it's an extension, a long sort of branch off of that low pressure center, which we call an inverted trough, because normally you would see a front come sort of like a cold front would come out from the bottom of the low. This is sort of going the opposite direction up towards New England. And so when that happens, what you get in the atmosphere is you get winds on each side of that trough going in different directions. In this case, behind it is from the northwest, in front of it is from the north. And that creates little convergence zones where the winds kind of meet, and that's where you get your heavier snow. Trick is trying to figure out exactly where that's going to happen over southern New England, because where the inverted trough is not located, the snow amounts will be sort of minor. Where it is located, we could be in for a decent amount of snow. Yeah,
so you can see how this is setting us up for quite the challenge forecast-wise. Yeah. And the thing to note, though, is it's just going to be downright cold. It's going to be windy, and plowable snow is now more likely. Yeah. And I think it's hard to see this.
Yeah, I think there's a couple. So what I did here is highlight sort of the two most likely areas where we could see one or two of these troughs setting up. One across central parts of, say, Rhode Island up through the central Worcester County. And in the last, say, 24 to 48 hours, we've seen sort of models converging on Essex County and, say, Cape Ann area for even more sort of convergence, so to speak, in the atmosphere. And so I think right now, if we were to pick a jackpot area, and we'll get to the snow totals in a second, it would probably be over Essex County, say Marblehead, Cape Ann, eastern parts of Essex County. So let's see if we can pick out the heavier snow bands on the futurecast. So this is now late tonight,
Saturday.
Right? If you're going out tonight, you may see a few flurries, but I don't expect any real, traffic trouble or anything like that. But after midnight, here's when things start cooking, and you can kind of see one sort of area coming in from the west, and then another one sort of forms, there you go, right over northeastern parts of Massachusetts. And that sort of curls down through the rest of the state during the day tomorrow. So.
Yeah, what's funny is if you actually play this in reverse, it almost looks like it's moving in the correct or typical direction that we normally see this. So this is, showing us right here, 5 p.m. Saturday, where one of those heavier bands is setting up along the coastline, and then after it moves through, we're talking super clear weather for at least a couple of days. But
yeah, that's when the cold and that's when the wind and cold comes in. So here's our latest snow map. The complexity of the snow map, we apologize for it, but we're trying to be as sort of, we're trying to highlight those areas again where the troughing may set up and where the heavier snow may set up. So it's kind of a tough call. Right now we feel like Worcester County may do a little bit better than 3 inches, and Essex County sort of right along the coast and especially over Cape Ann may also do a little bit better. So we'll zoom in a little bit on that for you to kind of show you. Just over the course of, say, I don't know, 30, 40 miles, 50 miles of travel, you could get some very different totals here. So 3 to 5 from a fluff factor in Worcester County. Merrimack River Valley might do a little bit less than that, 2 or 3 inches. Then you get closer to Essex County and Cape Ann. And yeah, we think that sort of convergence area over Cape Ann could spill out a half foot of snow or even more in a pretty short period of time. So that would, obviously, if you're traveling up there, down, say, from Hampton down to Gloucester, Cape Ann, could be pretty tricky on Saturday. Mm-hmm. Some serious travel issues up that way. So here's a travel impact as well. Peaking Saturday morning through mid to late afternoon is when probably travel is at its worst. So in that respect, if you have to travel, if you have to go, say, getting groceries for the Super Bowl, whatever you have to do, I'd go today, maybe early tomorrow morning before things get too bad, or if you can, wait till Sunday morning.
If last snowstorm was any indication on Patriots fans' willingness to go out in the conditions and the elements, I'd say it's still going to be pretty busy outside.
Yeah, we're making a regular habit of these snowstorms during Patriot games. Kind of reminds us a little bit of the old days, 2014, 2015. And so once the snow is gone, then we get into the next wave.
Extreme cold.
Yeah.
Yay. So this got expanded from yesterday, as expected. Wind chills to -20 in the Boston area and everything in the light blue, and even colder for central and western Massachusetts.
Yeah, so it's up to 25, 30 below wind chills, and this was primarily late Saturday night and the first part of Sunday, and you can see the wind gusts start to pick up at that same time. So not much wind tomorrow morning, but really it's as that heaviest snow bands come through and then start to leave is when the winds pick up behind it. Now, it's only, say, 20 to 25, 35 mile an hour winds. It's not damaging wind, but it's certainly, when you have those kind of winds with the temperatures we're expecting, that's when it gets really cold. And check out these field like temperatures.
Oh, this is going to be fun.
So there you go. This is Sunday morning. So we're basically talking 10 to 20 below, like you said, in eastern Mass. And some of those red areas, central and western Mass, 25, 30 below zero. So frostbite can happen easily in less than 30 minutes in conditions like that. Mm-hmm. It's really tricky stuff. So, yeah, if you're heading out Sunday morning for those last-minute errands, obviously.
At least throw the gloves on. Just throw some stuff on, because you don't want to be caught out there with, this kind of air and wind and on direct skin making contact like that.
These forecast highs now for Sunday, these are actual highs, not wind chills.
Yes,
it
it's
feels
crazy.
Like temperatures. Teens at best. Boston right now we're thinking 16, Worcester at 12, and that's actually going to be close to record low maximum. So in other words, the high for the day, the lowest highs ever recorded on Sunday, Sunday's date, 14 and 10, we're going to be pretty close to those. So we could, for once this winter, we haven't set many records.
Yeah, and I think, gosh, someone might hit that record.
I think for sure.
Somewhere. Yeah. So weather watcher is going to be really important to get those numbers in.
So just one last thought, as you're sitting on your couch on Sunday watching the game, it's going to be awfully nice out in the San Fran, Santa Clara area, where the Pats will be winning easily, of course, well into the 60s there. No real weather concerns there. If there's going to be any rain, it'll probably be post-game there. So about a 50-degree difference between where the Pats are playing and where we'll be hanging out.
I know you were asking people online which one they'd prefer. Mm-hmm. Did you say your preference?
I mean, I'd love to be at the Super Bowl.
Yeah, right? Like, I think even if the Super Bowl was on the 16-degree number there, I'd pick Super Bowl.
I think it would be fun if the Super Bowl weren't just in warm weather cities, but if the Patriots, for instance, could host. Imagine if this game were in New England. The advantage I feel like we would have, in playing in wind chills, 10, 20 below zero.
Yeah.
Obviously vastly different, and we can understand why they choose the warm weather cities. But Nonetheless, so the 7-day basically is cold, really cold, and then sort of cold. Not a whole lot of, so just to give you an idea, we should be averaging 38, 39 degrees for highs this time of year. We're nowhere near that until maybe we get a little bit of a wintry mix in the middle of next week. But we do think that in the longer range, say not this week, but the following week, perhaps we'll start to see more average temperatures and get to 40 for once. It's been a while. So we're going to be all over the storm this weekend. We've got Lexi and Alyssa tomorrow. Obviously, Eric will be on tonight updating those snowfall numbers. But important that you stay tuned tomorrow, because with these troughs, if that area changes at all for the higher snow amounts, we'll definitely be updating you. And you'll be on it all day tomorrow.
That's right. Yeah.
Have a good evening. If you're watching us on YouTube, make sure you like and subscribe and stay safe.